Hey everybody. I know things have been a little crazy. I know I look a little crazy too. I'm getting ready for my date. But I just wanted to get on here while I do my makeup and multitask because school and everything has me super busy. But let's get to it. Charlie Kirk. The whole situation is very unfortunate. I have come to realize in the past few days, well, I kind of already knew y'all was off the rocker, but it's very apparent that we've reached a point where some of you are irredeemable. One thing I wanted to highlight is that we have taken what the media tells us, what our friends tell us, these clips out of context, and we've taken it to hating people. And when you can hate people, you can also devalue their life. And when you devalue their life, you can also unalive them or think it's justifiable that they're unalived, or laugh and mock them being unalived in front of their family, their young children, their wife, their friends, their associates, as well as thousands of college students, as well as an entire nation, as well as the whole world. Like, we were all witness to that. The video was shared, God knows how many hundreds of thousands of times. And this man, even though he may not have been known to a lot of people, right off by name or by face, he's now been elevated to a point where, everybody's talking about it. And essentially that's been very counterproductive for those who hate him. So while you're laughing and you're mocking him, on the surface level, you're not even realizing that you've elevated him to a point that you probably didn't want him to reach, which I feel like was martyrdom, because anytime you silence someone with violence, especially in a public forum, you've created a martyr, especially when it's someone who was honestly only using words, right? And I understand people feel like some words can contribute to violence, and they can, because we see the rhetoric that's been going around with calling people Nazis, calling people fascists, saying that police and law enforcement, federal law enforcement and ICE are kidnapping people off of the street, that they are racist, that they are trying to exterminate people. There's just been so much. Sorry, my son texting me ridiculous. Can't do nothing. There's been so much rhetoric coming from mostly the left. And I mean, I'm not here to politicize this at all, but we have to understand where most of this has been coming from. Honestly, this is why I switched over parties, because I'm realizing that these people have gone way too far off on one side and they can't be redeemed. And I hate to say that anyone is irredeemable. And one thing is, whatever your thoughts are on Charlie Kirk, he was trying to redeem some of you. There was a redemptive intent behind gathering children and debating leftists, where you understand on a college campus, if you've been on one, especially if you're keen to the indoctrination, that it is an indoctrination platform. They are starting with our children younger and younger. They are indoctrinating our children the moment that they step onto any public school format, or private or charter. And so we are now in a situation where it has become part and parcel to demonize people for their views. So we can't separate ideas from the person, because I can have an idea and I can be way off, but that doesn't mean because I don't agree with your ideas, especially about the direction of a country or policy, that means that I hate you. One thing I wanted to touch on that I don't feel like enough people are pointing out, that especially as a Black woman, that I have been attacked for expressing my condolences to a man who was unalived in front of thousands, including his friends, including our children, when we talk about these college students, okay, and being desensitized to violence overall, and seeing that words can get you unalived, and seeing that thinking differently can get you unalived, and further trying to squash the movement of someone who was trying to moderate politics, who was trying to make things more even and just, and allow people to voice their opinions. Because in a democracy, we're supposed to, our civil duty is to be able to have discourse and to be able to agree to disagree, or to sharpen our opinions through debate. You can say whatever you want to say about him saying certain things that were against the Black community and placing the Black community in harm's way by making light of our struggles and our troubles. But you're no better if you're demonizing him or demonizing other people because they don't look like you, because they are affiliated with a certain party that you feel like is affiliated with racial violence, when those people have not been racially violent to you. You can say that you understand their intentions, but if you haven't even listened to what they had to say, if you haven't even been on any of their platforms, then you can't really speak of what that person's intent is, because you have a small view, okay? And especially when you don't see anything material necessarily coming out of their so-called intent that is a direct harm or threat to you. As Black people, as a Black woman, I have been told, and people who don't think like the status quo and the media is telling you to think, because especially the media, of course, is super not biased, right? And super telling us the truth, and totally not bought and paid for by highly influential people. So we must trust what they're saying. I am a coon, right? I am ignorant. I am siding with my oppressors. I'm tap dancing. I am a sambo. I don't love myself. I hate my community because I want to hear people out. I want to offer my condolences. I want to hear the truth no matter who is giving the message. That's a Malcolm X quote. I'm for the truth no matter who's telling it, right? And even, Jesus in the Bible, there's so many different people who have tried to warn us of what happens when we can't separate the message from the messenger, when we cannot separate our skin color from our humanity. Because I am a human being first. And I think this is news to some of you. I'm a Black woman, so I should be loyal to my Black skin. I saw somebody say today, you guys have made your skin color an idol. And that is exactly what's happening to our community. And of course, you can keep on doing the whataboutisms. How did we get here? White people and white supremacy, the KKK, slavery. You can do all of that you want. But at the end of the day, you can't say you're better than them. So if that's who you're going to keep pointing to, you can't say you're better than them. You're just saying, I'm going to do it because they did it. So then what are you again? You're a follower. You're weak. You're a hypocrite. I don't know how this isn't the conclusion that you're coming to about your own moral fortitude. Okay. I am a human being first before anything else. So, this white man is white, and he may have said something one time that was very critical of the Black community and may have sounded like he wanted us to continue to fail and be on the receiving end of quote unquote violent policies. And even if he did say that, I can still mourn him being taken and his life being cut down. That is me being the bigger person. That is me being a human. That is me having empathy. Oh, he said he didn't like empathy. He said empathy is a made up word. And if you look at the full quote, he's actually talking about how we're using empathy as a catch-all for not holding ourselves accountable, for allowing criminals to be looked at as the victims and ignoring and downplaying the victim's own harm and pain and you know, whatever they went through, their own victimization. Like, you can't elevate the criminal beyond the victim. You can't look at what the criminal is going through and then ignore the victim. There is no righteousness in that. So me giving condolences to Charlie Kirk and his family is not me elevating him and whatever his platform is, or white supremacists, even though I don't see where he's a white supremacist. Just because he criticized black on black violence. If anything, he's trying to help black people stop killing themselves. He's trying to help black people take accountability and stop being the perpetual victims. And you're making yourself the perpetual victim by returning to the thought that, well, he said these bad things about my community, or he said these things that were not 100% awesome about my community, because my community is so perfect that now I'm not able to see that we need help, and that this person may be trying to offer it with giving us another perspective, giving us some truth to power, so that we can take responsibility for the situation that we find ourselves in. Because at the end of the day, black people have been out of chains for years. Black people have had programs and, you know, DEI and affirmative action, the welfare state, you know, the carceral, everything, defund the police, criminal justice reforms, all the things that we can say that we've had issues with. Now, granted, there has been no reparations, right? But if you look at what's been offered and how we have not come together to take advantage of it, and how our so-called civil rights leaders have let us talk ourselves out of being the exclusive recipients of said reparations in whatever form they may have come in, whether they've been explicitly stated to be such or not, then we can start realizing that maybe we missed our train. And things have gotten so far off the rocker and so far out of alignment with what the original intention was of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, where we are supposed to be given that redress, but we have allowed everybody else and their mama to get in, and then now tell us how to think, and then now question whether or not we're black enough because we don't side with them taking over our resources, taking over our protections, taking over our land, calling themselves black too, when we are a separate class, not owning our class. Jesse Jackson, you know, I'm working on a tribute band to Betty Davis. She's a funk queen. She was basically silenced and marginalized because of her raunchy, outspoken style as a woman in the 70s. They weren't ready. Okay. And guess who was one of the main groups who basically pushed for her not to be able to, who deplatformed her, who canceled her back when canceling wasn't even really a thing? The NAACP. The National, Association for the Advancement of Colored People was the main ones who told a colored black woman, African American, whatever y'all decided was the term, woman, that she was too much and she was a bad representative of our community, even though she was just being herself and being, you know, a black alt girl. Okay, and giving women free expression, while in the 70s, you know, white women and whoever else was able to say, oh wow, black women, women are being, you know, silenced. Women aren't given the power, their sexual and you know, autonomy, right? And so, ironically, black people were the ones who silenced her, and she basically died on the outskirts when she should have been elevated by us, right? So I say that to say, y'all are counterproductive. And this whole circumstance with Charlie Kirk is even more counterproductive, because if the goal was to win more people to your side, the reason that people were upset with Charlie Kirk was because he was engaging these young people in real dialogue, what they're not getting on campus, what they're not getting around their dinner tables, what they're not getting from the media. They got a chance to have real dialogue. And in that real dialogue, they were realizing some things just were not absolutes. There were holes in democratic and leftist policies, and that socialism is not necessarily the answer, and that we've gotten so far away from Christ and God. And I'm not even a Christian, but I understand. I definitely had my moments where I was very much battling and fighting everything. I was fighting the Bible. I was fighting religion. I was fighting the status quo. But then I started to realize there's a place for Christianity. There's a place for religion. There's a place for patriarchy. There are some things that are just true and through and through. And yes, we can tweak things, we can evolve, but this pendulum swing from far left to far right and far right to far left is not going to get us anywhere. And so all of this has been extremely counterproductive, because Charlie Kirk was actually convincing so many of these young minds to swing to the right. And they've got so many statistics on that. And you guys panicked. Not all of you, I'm talking about the powers that be and whoever was out here demonizing this man and defaming this man. I've seen so many quotes go around and stuff that he ain't even really say, or you took it completely out of context. But the point is, y'all were panicking. And why were you panicking? Because you're losing your stranglehold and your arguments don't hold up. They don't hold water. So then what do? You take somebody away violently. When Martin Luther King started talking that unity stuff, took him out. When Malcolm X started talking that unity stuff, took him out. Charlie was definitely trying to get people to come back to, having those family traditions, being more in alignment with what the Bible was, giving us as absolute truths to uphold our humanity. And many people can disagree, with that, and that's fine. But the proof is in the pudding. If you just go listen to the man, you will see most of what he was talking about was about Christian values and democratic values, all the things that we supposedly are supposed to be standing for, especially as Americans, right? But then y'all that wasn't enough, because he wasn't gonna make exceptions like your pastors are doing for LGBTQ to become the status quo. And I seen him engage with members of that community, and there was I didn't feel any hatefulness in those comments. It was just the truth. It was just his truth, whether you agree with it or not. But he was using his words, and then y'all escalated to violence. And then you want to justify it and tell me that because I'm a black woman, I should know better. I've had non-black people tell me that. The nerve, the fact that y'all have even given non-black people the audacity to tell me what I should be as a black woman, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself, because in no way should I have to cater to what a white man or Asian man or a Hispanic man is telling me about my blackness. In no way. Like, that's utterly ridiculous. But this is where we are. This is where we are. So you've emboldened all these people, foreigners, non-black people, to tell you what your blackness is. Joe Biden, hell, even told you if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Meanwhile, Charlie Kirk just telling y'all, hey, y'all might want to do something about y'all gang violence. Y'all might want to do something about your black on black crime and stop this soft on crime stuff and letting people out 14, 15 times out of jail so they keep doing it to you when 88% of the time you're the victim of a black person. As a black person, you're the victim of this black person. You might want to figure that out. We got this no snitch culture. We still got that. We got this, we had our the pedophiles in our family. We encourage a whole lot of degeneracy, and you can say whatever you want to say about it, but y'all know it's true. You can get on your high horse about it because it's a shame to you publicly, but until you acknowledge that, the community is going to stay in the exact position that it's in. But we don't want to have these conversations because they're difficult and it makes us feel bad. But guess what? It ain't always about feeling good. But because y'all felt bad, because somebody hurt your feelings, now it's okay to dance on his grave. I don't like it one bit. And you know who else don't like it? Whoever your God is. So telling me that I'm not black because I said R.I.P. to this man and I'm buck dancing for my oppressor because I don't feel like he deserved to die. Y'all need serious help. You done watched too many of them damn How to Get Away with This and Basketball Wives and Bad Girls Club. I don't know. I'm talking to the men too. These men, they real sassy. Real sassy. It's not this, and there's been a shift. So like I said, it's been very counterproductive. Extremely counterproductive. And there has been a shift. And I've seen so many people that weren't even associated with him, who had no idea who he was, now look into him and say, wow, this guy actually had some sense. Counterproductive. And then you've enraged a part of the right that is not trying to be, because Charlie was a moderate, whether you can see it or not. Even the way y'all looking at Trump is really technically, especially at this point, the way how y'all went so far off left, is a moderate. You have no idea the hell you guys have attempted to unleash. People was mad about the wife speaking out and saying she worse than her damn husband. Dang, she ready for retribution. This sound like she about to come for, yeah, rightfully so. Rightfully so. I don't think she's going to come at you guys violently the way you guys justify it. Like, you know, Savannah Craven got punched in her face. People was like, that's what she get for talking about abortion. Wow. That's crazy. Y'all pastors supposed to be talking about this stuff. Y'all go to church. And I hope this Sunday he told y'all was wrong. Maybe, maybe not, depending on who his donors are. Depending on how many of them politicians he gonna have up in there come election season. But at the end of the day, there should be no justification in somebody being killed unalived for their political views. I don't care. Did they take up arms and take out your family? They did not. And everybody should have a day in court. So I don't know what we're talking about. Y'all not even aligned. Y'all talking about Trump don't follow the Constitution. Y'all not aligned with the Constitution, nor your Bible, nor your own moral high ground. Bunch of hypocrites. So, you know, if it make you feel good to tell me I can't say whatever, I look stupid because I have empathy for somebody, whether they would have had empathy for me or not. And that's the other thing. He wouldn't have did that for you. Oh, so since when do we do what the other people do? Since when is it the right thing to do if only if the other person would have done it? You measuring your own morality by somebody else's is crazy. Say you insecure without saying you insecure. Say you weak without saying you weak. You guys have no moral constitution. You guys have no identity. Because your whole identity is based on hating somebody else. That's sickness. So, I don't know what to say. Except, I pray that everybody can take a chill pill, fall back a little bit, and get it together. I've seen so many people though who are realizing like, nah, y'all went too far. Like I can't co-sign this. This is not my party. Like, and I don't think you're realizing it. Like all this did, the way y'all acted, like somebody said, it ain't had nothing to do with necessarily Charlie Kirk being assassinated. It was the way many people acted, especially in the Black community, because you're human first. You can't say the oppressor was so evil, but then you literally trying to be just like them. Well, they did it, so it's my turn. Grow up. The whole community needs to grow up. So I'm not here to raise you. But the tides have changed. And we had that lunar eclipse, Pisces across from Virgo, right before this happened. So it's going down. there's something in the atmosphere, and whether you're gonna realize it or not, that's on you. But there's definitely a change out here going on, and so you're gonna have to decide, because this is about good and evil. This is about right and wrong. It ain't about no damn political parties. Y'all done took it too far, and y'all done let these people gash y'all up and brainwash y'all to being, you ain't black if you don't vote for me, but also I ain't black if I don't hate a white man, to the point that I can't even say, damn, that's messed up. Why y'all do that? When he was just talking. When he was just talking. All these hypotheticals. Would they have done it if it was Malcolm? Wait, how do you know? How do you know? Were you there? Were you there? How do you know any of these people weren't aware of what happened to Malcolm and didn't grieve the same way? Or their ancestors? Just this whole idea that y'all thinking all white people is racist is wild. It's so wild. But then y'all ready to invite somebody to the cookout because they can rap a song. They can rap a song. Now they can come to the cookout. Hell, Candace released a video of Charlie singing Kanye West. Kanye West reached out to them and was like, hey, I mess with y'all. So can he come to the cookout now? Can he come to the cookout now? Like, y'all all over the place. And you talking like y'all got an army. You don't got no army. You need to settle down. You got too many problems in your own community to be worried about somebody else in their community. And he was trying to, get especially them white liberals to come to terms with, what they doing by coddling and constantly victimizing black people. When black people, be it we kings, we was kings, look at everything we went through, should be able to rise to the occasion at this point. Because I'm not seeing the day-to-day systemic oppression that y'all keep trying to act like it's still out here. The systemic oppression is coming from people that look like you. Brandon Johnson. Okay? Obama. Maxine Waters. Al Sharpton. That's where it's coming from. Jesse Jackson, who, like I said, told you to abandon your redress and call yourself African American. So now Elon Musk is also in your class. It don't make no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. We as black people got a lot to learn and a long way to go. And I don't know when we gonna realize it, but we gotta make a big change. A huge change. Or we screwed. We are absolutely screwed. So, I say all that to say, I hope we wake up. I hope we realize our actual power. Because that was the last thing I also wanted to say. I keep seeing people say we are not our ancestors. I'm so sick of hearing that. Because your ancestors is who got you emancipated. Got you through Reconstruction. Put up a black Wall Street, Rosewood. Became entrepreneurs, and many of them were Republicans. We are not our ancestors. What a shitty way. What a shitty way to justify your apathy, justify your lack of strategy, justify your decision to be just like your oppressor. You're not your ancestors, then who are you? Where'd you come from? If you're not your ancestors, who are you? So disrespectful to everything they've done. They have spilled blood, sweat, tears on this land, and now you're not them. Repent. Especially for saying stuff like that. Repent. Because you need to be your ancestors. Because you definitely shouldn't be who you are now. And your And your descendants are going to be very ashamed. For real, for real. And that's for real. That's that piece on that one, because it doesn't make any sense to me. But let me finish my little makeup, get ready for my date. I just had to get on here and say those little words to y'all, because I'm just not understanding. I'm just not understanding the thought process. Us and what army? Like, y'all ready to go to war? Are you ready to go to war? You're not. So, you know, you can say I got Stockholm syndrome, I'm trying to align with my oppressors, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm smart. I'm strategic. And also, I know white people ain't doing it to me right now. It's my own people. It's my own people. And the only people who are trying to save this country and give me some breathing room from all of these invaders to exercise my redress as an African American Black foundational American, a descendant of American slavery, is the right. The people that y'all out here advocating violence against. Doesn't make sense. Abortions are killing us. Black on black crime is killing us. The trans movement is killing us. And y'all mad because he pointed it out. Because you're not your ancestors. Bye.